Howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. Episode 449. The Lions are looking good. This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am the dashingest of hosts, Chris, and with me is my eloquent, finely coiffed, beautiful, and thoughtful co-host and good friend, Jeff the Riz Risden. How you doing, brother?
It is good to be with you talking about another Lions win. I can get used to this, Chris. I like this. I like this a lot.
Eggplant. Oh, sorry. We're doing it live. Okay. We got a lot to talk about. And that big eggplant is what we got to talk about today, as well as a couple other things. We're going to talk about the Jags game and the big win. We're going to talk about, this guy, you may have heard of him, Jameson Williams is back. You may have heard that in one place last week before the game. We're going to discuss Jared Goff's performance. We're going to take a quick look at the playoffs, preview Friday's show, and a whole lot more. We got a great show lined up. Riz, are you ready to go, my man?
Let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
That's what we do. Woo, boy. All right. Oh, what is that? A Wizard Burial Ground. Oh,
yeah.
14.3 octane. It's not bad for a
Need
beer.
one of these for 2 days.
All right, well, let's get with this. We got you folks on the line. You want to know about the Lions. We want to talk about the Lions as well. Really quick one hit about St. Jude. So far, $12,069.69. You are the greatest people. Thank you.
Y'all are doing it right.
So
I'm speechless, Chris. We've done that already.
Yeah.
We got like 36 hours until we start doing this thing for 24 hours. And we're there. Y'all are amazing.
Yeah.
You really are.
The greatest listeners, viewers in the nation, anywhere. It's impressive. You guys are the folk. You guys and gals are the best. Thank you so much. We've got a big show lined up for you guys. We are working with the Lions. They have promised us a very special guest, so we're going to have Lions people. We got Justin Rogers. We got Scott Bischoff. We got Bill Keenest. If you want to hear about some of the Lions history from the historian himself, the man who knows everything. He was a director of communications for over 30 years. You're going to get the insider scoop on a lot of stuff out of him. We've got Mike Furry, if you remember him as a wide receiver, also the coach at Limestone College now. He was a wide receiver coach for the Bears up until the end of the Nagy regime. Mike Furry is one of the most wonderful human beings you are ever going to come across. And we're going to talk a little bit of Mike Martz. We're going to talk about Lions. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about with him. He's going to be great. A couple patient stories. Of course, as always, Dan Miller will join us because he's the best. We got Brian Burkheiser. You remember that band I Prevail, Riz? Have you heard of them before?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Brian's going to come on the show, talk rock and roll with us. We've got Tony Ortiz, Micro Mike, Doug Farrar, Michael Gray. We're working on some other folks. Krabs, Schofield, Keatley, a couple other folks that we love. We've got, I don't know that we're going to have more than 4 hours without a guest or something going on. We'll have live auctions going on during the show. It's all Friday, 9 a.m. it starts through 9 a.m. Saturday, 24 hours, St. Jude fundraising show. Join us for the fun. You are going to have a great time. And big shout out and thanks to WWJ. Starting on Thursday, they're going to be running a bunch of stuff about the show on in Detroit for us and help popularize and publicize it for us. So appreciate the folks, Tony Ortiz and the folks at WWJ. You guys are the very, very best. The auction is ongoing, and I just want to hit this really quick because there's some freaking cool stuff. We've added it. The biggest ones to think about: Lions tickets versus Minnesota. Likely the biggest remaining game on the schedule for the Detroit Lions. 2 tickets, club level, 211C with parking available. I have them on my phone, ready to distribute to the auction winner at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. So get ready, get in there. We got a great Campbell and Holmes print. We got DeAndre Swift signed football. We got some signed football helmets, including one from Frank Gore. Arouarier, Shark, Williams, Panay. We got jerseys signed from all of them. We've got a great fishing trip for Steelhead charter on there. Some TJ Hawkins stuff. You can join Riz and I for dinner at Prime and Proper in downtown. You got to get in there because we're going to have a lot of stuff for you. We're going to have some live auction stuff that's even wilder. Join us. Hit the auction, auction.detroitlionspodcast.com, and then also donate, please, at stjude.org/DLP. And help us out. All right. Thank you for letting us go through that. As you know, we're not doing any of the other commercials and stuff that we do during the show or reads about the fun. It's all about St. Jude as we do this. So please, thanks for giving us the time to do that. Let's get into this. First, thanks to Scott Riley for the subscription. And also our last super chat from Loretto. Thank you, Loretto. Reviewing the Jags game. I think I can sum it up this way, Riz. It was just an absolute blowout. A complete game. And not just a complete game. I mean, we've had some games where they've been complete wins by the team, but this was a complete blowout win. Like, you know what I mean? This is a complete top off the blender kind of a win by the Lions here. Spectacular 40-14 win. There wasn't a point that I was after the middle of the first quarter that I was actually worried about the rest of the rest of the game and the outcome of the game. And this is rare for a Lions game. A couple things they can improve on. Of course, there always is. No one's ever perfect. But the entire team showed up and had an absolutely spectacular game. Detroit Lions, thank you. Coach Campbell, thank you. This is the kind of game that Lions fans needed in their veins, and you guys injected it straight through at 100% efficacy. This shit wasn't cut at all.
It was amazing. So one of the things that I have to do, and I explained this the other day on the Huge Show, and I'll be on there tomorrow too, and we'll be promoting the St. Jude Telethon. So if you're anywhere in Michigan, tune in the Huge tomorrow. I'll be on for at least the 4 o'clock hour and probably a little bit of the 5 o'clock hour. But one of the things that I told him is, my job is I have to write a post-game story. And with these Lions, it's really hard to get a feel for where that story is going to go until like the last minute or so of the game. And then you got to really hurry it. This one, I started writing it in the second quarter. I'm like, and when Jacksonville came out in that first drive in the third quarter and didn't do squadouche, and the Lions did, I'm like, this is over. Like you could tell. And so I was watching the game. I was actually at a volleyball tournament with my son in Indianapolis. So I wasn't watching like on the TV. I'm watching it on a small screen. I'm like, this can't look this great, right? Like and it just kept going and going and going, and they never relented. That was one of my takeaways, was that they didn't take their foot off the gas. Like they just kept going, man. They maybe didn't have it floored, but they kept the RPMs up off the ground. And like by about the middle of the third quarter, and it really showed when I did the rewatch. Like the Jaguars' body language is like,
they were beat.
What happened? What the hell happened to us here? Like, we're a good football team. We just beat the Ravens last week.
Do you remember the old cartoon with Foghorn Leghorn where he lifts the dog's butt up in the house and starts beating with a 2x4? Yes. That's what the Lions did to the Jaguars.
Like, I mean, it was so complete. Like the first drive, offensively, Goff wasn't great, but they got the job done.
140 yards.
His touchdown pass went off of a defensive player into Amon-Ra St. Brown. And he also threw almost another interception on that drive. But beyond that, he was great. And like, you got those lucky breaks at the beginning, and then they didn't need it after that. Like that's like, the offense was so clean. The defense, my God, watching the defense dictate to another offense what they can and can't do.
Dude,
we haven't seen that since 2011, 2012. When Jim Schwartz had Adama Sue and that crew running, like, and that was like watching Isaiah Buggs kick somebody's ass, watching Alex Anzalone tear up the Jaguars. Like, they had no answer for Alex Anzalone. And again, by the way, that's 3 of the last 4 weeks. He's played pretty damn well.
What would you say if at the beginning of the season, if someone said, "Oh my God, in week 13, Aaron Rodgers' season is going to be over, but the Lions will already be ahead of them in the standings"? I mean, think about what you would have been like. You're from another planet, man. This is awesome. This is awesome. Nick asking if we will do the beans. Yes, we're doing the beans again this year. Riz will be on a snap count. We'll take care of it. He got injured. It was days he was injured last year. So
it was rough, man.
Yeah. Yodi. Hey Jeff, how about Yodi on the line? A week.
Oh, Coyote.
A week in in Frank's hands, and my man's a superstar.
He did better. He definitely got better. Still has a lot of work to do. And he missed practice today, and that is something to be concerned with because Evan Brown was also out today, and Taylor Decker was also out today with an illness, and Panay is not 100%, and Frank is not 100%. So keep an eye on that. But it's Wednesday. We'll talk a lot about that on Friday as we get ready. This game is basically, or tonight's show is basically like celebrating what happened Sunday with the Jaguars, because we don't get to do that very often. I mean, come on. When was the last time we won 40-14? When was the last time that I could write a post-game story and have it done in a positive manner to hit send as soon as the clock hits zero? Like, that doesn't happen often.
Yeah. Hey, we've got a question. Let's do the preview we're going to do tonight because we've got Scott Bischoff's preview hitting tomorrow. We're going to do a big preview of the game against the Vikes on Friday and Saturday. Just a quick yes or no question for you, Riz. Are we beating the Vikes Sunday, yes or no?
It's in Detroit. I picked
Lions by 2.5.
That's wild to me.
Yeah, 2 team.
I have picked at both sides, so I don't know.
I'm gonna say yes because
in the USA Today Weekly that I had to write Sunday, I said the Lions would win. In the real GM picks that I have coming this weekend, based on the injury attrition and a little bit of that, and just me being nervous about being favored against a team that's 10-2, I kind of picked against them, but I don't know yet. I don't know.
I think the Lions win, but I hate to say this, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and it's unfortunate. But that's when
the Giants Commanders tie
screwed us,
killed them in the playoffs.
When's the last time
the entire focus was to get into a tie situation with one of them because you have the tiebreaker. Yeah. Now you can't.
Yep.
So they lost any advantage they had of beating either of those teams.
Yep.
Which sucks.
The thing is, how long has it been since you or me have said, "Oh, the Lions missed the playoffs because they weren't in control of their destiny and they missed the playoffs. They just missed it." When's the last time we said that?
They were eliminated at this time last year.
It's been years. This is a great feeling. Trust me. We're on our way. Quick question for Riz. Any truth in the Ben Johnson head coaching rumors? I think that's my department.
It's way, way, way too early to know.
Ben's in his dream job.
From both the outside and from Ben's perspective. Way too early to know.
Ben's in his dream job. I'd start asking that question in 2 years. And they'll bring the bags of money to keep it. And I'll leave it at that. Let's see. Okay.
We don't know who's going to be the GM of 3 of the teams that are going to be hiring head coaches yet. So it's impossible to speculate beyond, he's a good candidate. Yes, he's a good candidate. That's about all we know at this point.
Not going anywhere. Okay. Let's get to the next one. This one's the one I'm happy of. I'm proud of as a Lions fan. And I think no matter what your take is, you need to celebrate this man. Jared Goff, I don't know if you saw Dan Miller hand him the screen when he got nominated. He found out he was nominated as Man of the Year, Walter Payton Man of the Year. A little tear in his eye, right? It was such a great moment for such a great human being. Jared Goff, I mean, that was really great to see. So,
give the Lions some credit for this. Do you remember when they did that for Chris Spielman, when they told him that he was going up in the Ring of Honor?
Yep.
And they kind of surprised him on it, sort of ambushed, and he had that kind of reaction. And seeing Goff and seeing how just like overwhelmed he was. And like, he's not a guy that shows that emotion very often.
No.
That was really, really cool to see. And the Lions media team deserves a lot of credit for how well they pulled that off. That was really well done.
Yeah. Spectacular. That was great. So good in you, Jared. Best of luck, man. I hope you get it. If you want to stop by the St. Jude just to kind of up your status a little bit, you're free to do that. Happy to have you. Want to get in question? Does Dan Miller call the greatest game? OMG hyped. This is funny. I love this. We were putting Dan Miller clips on the show 5 years ago, 6 years ago, telling people shut off the TV, put on the radio. It's like the last 2 or 3 years, people have really started catching up. It is spectacular. He is the best. You guys don't realize you have, Ernie Harwell is a talent that crosses. He's not just a legend in Detroit for the Lions. He is a legend. He's a Hall of Fame broadcaster. He's a legend in the major league for being able to call an amazing game. Dan Miller is that tier. You are living in a golden era, and so many people don't even recognize what they have. I think, like with Calvin Johnson, in the early years, I didn't even recognize how awesome he was. Barry Sanders was spectacular, and I loved watching him. I love Barry, but it didn't register in the moment that I was living through one of the, if not the greatest running back to ever step onto a football field. And it's like I've gotten an appreciation as I've seasoned over the years, and to take the moment and take a deep breath and enjoy and recognize when these things happen. So please do enjoy Dan Miller, folks. You've got something special right there.
Absolutely. And so this past one, I got the experience. I watched the game without any sound in real time. And it was weird. I was happy that I didn't have to listen to Chris Myers, but I was sad that I couldn't listen to Dan.
NFL Plus app. You can listen to the radio broadcast live, and it's not hard to sync with your TV, just so you know. So you got some good stuff there. AG had the speech in Hard Knocks about getting the feeling back of expecting to win. I think the players are starting to feel that now. I think you're seeing a turn in the players. This is a different mindset here of belief about winning than you saw after that New England game. And you got to give it to the players and the coaches for sticking it out, man. You just have to.
You know, and when they fired Aubrey Pleasant, which I do point to as a definite turning point in this season, I don't think it's the definitive one. I think there was a lot of things that were a happy coincidence along with that, but the net effect of that was, holy crap, we love this guy, and he got fired because we weren't playing good enough. Like, we could be next. And whether that was the intended message or not, it worked. Because Dan, when Dan Campbell said, you know, that's a great man, and I didn't want to do it, and I wish him the best, and I will always be a fan. He meant that. Like, he was being sincere.
Yeah.
And the players, when Jeff Okudah and Tracy Walker and Deshaun Elliott talked about, you know, like, this is a really good coach, and we let him down, and that's on us. They meant that. They took it to heart. Yeah. And that's not a variable that you can account for. That's Dan Campbell culture. Yeah. That is having strong presences in the locker room with Aaron Glenn, with Brian Duker, with Kelvin Shepard, with Deuce Staley as the assistant head coach, and Dan too. Like, that's a group that came together and coalesced around the idea that we should be better than the way we are right now. What can we do to make that happen? And I think we've seen that. I don't know the exact stats, but I heard it today that they have been number 6 in the league in defense over the last 4 weeks in terms of DVOA, which is Football Outsiders, where they evaluate all the plays and they base it on the quality and caliber of the opponent on each play and the net result of it. And I believe it. Just from watching them, like, it's a completely different style, not and mindset to whoever asked it. Like, there's confidence, there's some swagger, there's some belief that like we're good enough to do this. And the fact that they're doing it, like, their veteran Michael Brockers doesn't play anymore. Like, you know, Charles Harris, the other guy who was really, really valuable last year's leader, he isn't here anymore. Yeah. The fact that they're doing this around Hutch and Kirby and Anzalone deserves a lot of credit for his leadership. I don't want that to get discounted either. And the way that Jerry plays and the way that Okudah plays, like, they realized that, hey, we might be young. That doesn't mean we have to be bad.
And Jalen Carter,
and I think you see that. What's that? And
Jalen Carter next year.
Maybe that'd be nice. Means I don't get a quarterback though. That would suck.
It does, there's talk about it. We'll get there. We'll
talk about the quarterback. So we got plenty of time to talk about that. Our quarterback was really damn good last Sunday, and I want to celebrate that because he was after the first drive, he was really, really dialed in.
124.7 QBR, my friend. 340 yards. I'm if he did that every game.
The FedEx Air Player of the Week. He was really, really good. And the fact that he what I loved was that he knew where his receivers were going to be and delivered clean, mostly crisp balls to them when and where they needed to be. He wasn't all that concerned about the pressure, which was very nice to see. Jacksonville did get some pressure a little bit.
Yep.
Especially from the right side of the line where Sewell did not have a great day. And Awosika is a guy that if he doesn't win at first, he ain't going to win. But I thought Goff was very that was Jared Goff at his absolute best. He will never be better than he was Sunday.
I'll tell you what,
was good enough to beat it.
I got it. Jared Goff wins against the Lions win against the Vikings. You and I mean, they have to agree to it. You and I wash Jared Goff's car every weekend in the off season. Or once in a bikini.
I wear a Speedo.
You only get once that way. I would do that. I would absolutely do that. I would every Saturday I'd be at his house washing his car if they win this weekend. It would be awesome.
He was so in control of the offense. And that's what you need. You need a quarterback who understands that, okay, they're trying to take away over here. So I can't look over here and then suddenly just throw over here. Like okay, 1's here, 2's here, 3's here, my hot's here, or my hot's here. Like he was so in command. It was great to see that. That is Jared Goff at his best. And that's the Jared Goff that you can win a lot of games with.
Yep.
We just need to see more of that guy. Please. That would be great. And Ben Johnson's scheming guys open.
Yep.
And understanding the dynamics of what kind of a receiver Amon-Ra is, what kind of a receiver a healthy DJ Chark was. DJ Chark looked great because he was healthy, not because he was pissed off about being an ex-Jaguar. He had burst. He had the ability to change speeds. That's something we haven't seen in Detroit yet. He understands Brock Wright is this kind of tight end. He's not TJ Hawkinson. I need to use him differently than I use TJ Hawkinson. That kind of stuff is the thing that Ben Johnson is doing really, really well. That I will look around some other teams around the league when they try to plug somebody in. They're like, oh, well, he's the backup, so he's got to do what the first guy did.
Yep.
Ben Johnson has already figured out that that's not how you run your offense. Exactly. And that is really, really nice to see.
Ooh, I got to give a shout out. Jameson Hennessy, thank you, sir. $99.99 on the super chat. Riz, please call out Iffy.
Is he even on the team? He won't be next year.
That's tough, isn't it? Yeah, God, my God.
He's just. It's sad because he has potential. He really does. But the fact that even when everybody else was hurt and he still wasn't playing because he was hurt too.
Yeah.
Not a good place to be in. Not a good place if you can't practice in your first 2 years in the league.
This is a family trade, it feels like. I mean, all the potential in the world. You know what I mean? And just not there.
No. Sometimes being a great athlete isn't what it's all cooked up to be. His brother was a great example of that. There are other great examples of that. A lot of them wind up with the Arizona Cardinals for some reason, playing defense. Guys who are really, really great athletes that don't wind up being very good football players. It happens. It's one of the reasons why he was a guy that his measurables said first round, and he went in the late third, wasn't it? Yeah. Did he go like in the 90s or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Everything blurs at this point, but sometimes some guys it just never clicks, and it hasn't clicked for him yet. And the clock is ticking because Chase Lucas is starting to get more practice reps in that role. Will Harris is playing a lot better in that role.
Yeah.
You're seeing that Jerry could probably swing into that if he needs to, if they bite the bullet and get somebody outside, whether it's a veteran or a top rookie. By the way, I'll plant my flag now. I want a veteran. I don't want a rookie cornerback. I want the Rasheed Mathis for this group. I want the Chris Houston for this group. I want to go to Texans for Jonathan Joseph for this group. A guy who's your number 2, number 3 outside corner, who's played in the league for 8 to 10 years, has seen everything, can guide the – look, Jerry's still young. Jeff's still young.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these guys are so precocious. I would love to see that kind of a guy come in. I think that's more valuable than having a more talented rookie come in.
Nostradamus.
That's my take on it.
Yeah, Nostradamus. Yes, Riz, please keep talking bad about Iffy. You did the same thing for James Houston. We got you.
He had another good game, didn't he?
Yes, he did. We'll talk. That's our next type. I just got to hit Floundericious is back. My man, thank you, Flounder. He is back in town with the big match. Anything that shows up for St. Jude, up to $200 today, he will match it. You can double your money thanks to Floundericious is generosity.
Thanks, dude. That's awesome.
stjude.org/DLP. Throw a couple bucks there if you got it. Help us out. Help make a good Christmas for these kids and their families. You won't be able to not when you hear some of the stories we've got coming up this week. My cousin's going to be one telling her story as well. So get in there, stjude.org/DLP, and help us out. We got a double.
I will chip in an extra $50 for any guest that makes me cry.
Ooh. I got you, brother.
So if you know me, and Chris, you know this about me.
Yep.
I cry in literally every movie.
Yeah.
Like, I cried in Smokey and the Bandit.
He cried
like,
in
that's
Rambo.
how emotionally involved I get into things.
He cried Rambo.
So
like the 53rd time you watched it in Senior Bowl.
Gives me every damn time.
When's the St. Jude stream from Enjoy Detroit? It is at 9 a.m. on Friday. It starts this Friday, 9 a.m., and we go 24 hours. So it'll be a good one. So $20 double up. Help us out there, folks, and let's make that happen. All right, let's get to this. James Houston, my man, had a game again. Riz, could you just go through the roster and say that none of these guys will ever play in the NFL, like just one at a time for me? Because I feel like we'd be unbeatable if we get a little bit of the Riz hoax.
I love the way they're judiciously sprinkling him into the defense, asking him to do what he does well, not asking him to do things that he doesn't do well. What do we talk about as good coaching? Oh, that's exactly what good coaching does. What's Aaron Glenn doing? Proving he's a damn good football coach.
Yeah.
He heard you people, all collective Lionsland, everybody that's not even listening to this, all the ignorami who are complaining that he still needs to be fired, that the defense is terrible. Like, stop living in September. September's over. Wake me up when September ends. Well, it's ended. It's December now. Not even November rain anymore. We're into Christmas time, baby. We're into Wham. We're into the season of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Cranking up your Christmas.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much, Risden. It all started earlier with Judas Priest, and now we've made the whole thing. All right, James Houston, love our guy.
Priest, but I had fun with that.
It was great.
Not my band.
No. Jerry Jacobs, almost his first INT out there. Great pass breakup. Jerry's looking great. Jerry and Okuda are just so good. I think they're going to be such an awesome pair in this NFL. And as close as they are, I mean, they are a pair. You know what I mean? And thing one, thing two. It's just love them out there. And I was talking to Jerry. I told him, don't worry, it's all right. It's going to come against Minnesota. It's better against Cousins in the division anyway. Get that first one there. So we'll see. We'll see if it comes this week. I hope so.
We'll throw it up.
Oh, yeah, he will. And so we will work that. Great play up front. The injuries, they're a big deal. They're a big deal. I'm hearing that Rags is just as bad as he was last year with that foot, that toe, playing with a hamburger patty at the end of his foot, man.
Yeah, and it shows. Like, he does not have the range that you expect from Frank Ragnow. He's still fine in the phone booth, but getting out of the phone booth, going a little bit more long distance, it's just not there for him this year.
Yeah. Alan, who besides the top quarterbacks, who would we pick up in the later rounds for a quarterback? We'll talk about that. Let's do it on the long show. We're going above and beyond. We feel today
some draft centric and quarterback centric guests who will be joining us to talk specifically about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So pay attention when Kyle Krabs comes on, when Mark Schofield comes on, when Josh Keatley comes on, because Josh. For those of you who don't know who Josh Keatley is, he worked with me. He was my first employee at Detroit Lions Draft back in 2012 when I started doing that. And he has written with me with Browns Wire, He now works for Buckeyes Wire, which means that he is in the locker room at Ohio State. He knows CJ. He's seen every single throw CJ Stroud has made. He has charted through it. He has written about it. He's covered it. So we're going to pick his brain on him, but he also, Key Dog knows his football. This was a former college football player. He understands the dynamics of leadership and how coachable things are. And he's seen a lot of college football this year. So we're going to lean on him for some of that too. So we got some really good guests that are going to focus on that. Again, I will say just one thing on it, because Anthony Richardson did declare this week, as Will Levis did this afternoon.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of talk about Anthony Richardson and the Lions seeing him 5 times. They saw Florida 5 times.
Yep.
Don't read more into that than what you think. I let it be known in our Slack, which by the way is the best $5 you can spend. Get in, and you'll hear these things. They love Ventrell Miller, the linebacker from Florida, who will be at the Senior Bowl. They have spent a lot of time scouting him. He is in the 3rd to 4th round range. He is the kind of linebacker that they want to be playing next to Rodrigo and Derek Barnes, sort of as a threesome in there. Whether they bring Alex Anzalone back in to make it a 4-way, who knows? But that's the caliber of linebacker that they're looking to draft, and he fits it very well. So they paid a lot of attention to him. They paid a lot of attention to Osiris Torrance, their right guard, who is probably the only first-round pick that will be taken as an interior lineman, or top 40 pick even as an interior lineman, and he's that good. So don't just focus on, it's only the quarterback. That isn't why they were just there. People made this mistake a year ago.
Yep.
We had fun with this in the Slack this morning when somebody tweeted out that you don't even need a mock draft. They're taking Kayvon Thibodeau number 1 because they had the number 1 pick at that time.
I won't make you say.
No mock needed.
I won't make you say who.
I won't say who it was, but y'all can find that. I'll just Google no mock needed Kayvon Thibodeau Lions, and you'll find it. That person was proven to be a buffoon, for lack of a better word. And I got in trouble for calling that person out because they worked under the same umbrella that I did at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was right on everything in what I chastised her on and what I told my bosses about it, and was vindicated. But I did actually get in a lot of trouble for that. There's no absolutes happen certainly before the end of the season. Because keep in mind, this is a collaborative effort. Dan Campbell has a lot of say. Deuce Staley has a lot of say. They have not seen a single college football game between them this year. So if you're the person that, they're definitely shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. They don't know, period. If you say that you think that if you are commanding that they know, you're an idiot. Stop talking.
All right. I don't see any passion there. Hope Chris isn't chugging the Jaeger this year. The Jaeger is saved for the draft show. I don't do that at St. Jude. St. Jude's a teetotaler show because we don't want to scare the kids away. It's a good show.
I got my 8-pack of Gatorade today, and I got a pot of coffee ready to roll too.
I got a stack of Red Bulls. We'll see if I can blow that chest out while I'm here. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling. Just want to make sure we know Ragnow and a couple others up front are playing through injuries, and Frank Ragnow is the grittiest, toughest son of a gun you are ever going to see. You guys don't even know. I'm just telling you, Rags, he's a superhero. He's an absolute superhero to play through what he's playing through right now. So good stuff on him. Oh, first one in, Anonymous 1234. Thank you very much for your donation. $12.34. Oh, they broke it though. Oh well, let's see if we can fix it.
Have faith, Chris. Our fans will pick us up.
stjude.org/DLP.
Y'all know what to do.
Yeah. DJ Chark played against the Jags. You like to see this kind of thing, right? You had Marvin Jones out there as well. He played against the Lions. But like I said last week, he knew what to do if he wants to sell cakes, and he did it. So good work for him, Marvin. Thank you. And DJ Chark went out and got himself a game ball, had a great game. Coach brought up a good point if you watch the locker room celebration about playing against another team, and then also what it's like to come to another team, and it's difficult. Because everybody you knew, all your buds, the people you built that kind of heart and soul with, they're gone. It's all pulled away, and you got another group. And doing it again is hard. I mean, it's hard. And to come in and be able to ball out like he did and play like he did, and I mean that one pass from Goff to him, what a beautiful connection, man! Just right in the basket. In double coverage, tight. It was so great. So good on DJ Chark. I love what I'm seeing. What was it? Ash was saying this is their 6th game together. And if somebody told you would it take about 6 games for them to kind of click, you'd probably say, okay, I get that. So here we are. We may be seeing more from the Chark and Goff collection here. And then I just want to go really quick to Jameson. He's back. He's going to play. We're going to see him this week. And you saw, we talked about it last week, some of the big throws that you can get out there. We saw the big throws land from Goff to Chark again. He can deliver a long ball. I'm not worried about Jameson outrunning Goff's arm on the throw down the sideline.
No, as long as Goff has time, he can deliver a deep ball.
Oh, yeah.
It's better over the middle than it is outside. But who's over the top covering a post pattern with Jameson Williams? Like if you do that, then Goff's gonna throw. Okay, I got Amon 8 yards down the field with nobody within 10 yards of him.
Yep.
That's the smart play. Like, don't force it down the field, dude.
Exactly.
And Goff is smart enough to do that. Ben Johnson's smart enough to understand how to design that.
Yep, absolutely.
It presents some very happy problems. It really does.
Don H, let's get it going again. Floundericious, $50.66. We are back. DLP, stjude.org/DLP. It'll show up on the razor thing there. I can't throw it in. And just I want to actually put this on the record. I forgot we got to do this more when we get cracking on the show. Everything we get in for the kids that comes in through Super Chat, we'll redirect over to St. Jude. Don't worry about that. The problem is YouTube takes a cut of that off the top, and it's a significant portion of Super Chat. So the best place to go is stjude.org/DLP. So just so you know, but we'll get it over there. Don H, you didn't do wrong. Don't worry about it. But right there is
Chris
the best
can
place.
handle these things. He's good at that kind of stuff.
Logistical star of the year. So there we go. We got that going on. All right. I thought JMO looked like a wide-eyed doe. He was stoked. Absolutely. We got to get to Jamal Williams. I want to talk about him. Another touchdown.
For another touchdown?
Yes, he did.
That happens a lot.
Did you see the clothing he brought in for the coaches and the players up front? I got to tell you, I want to see the entire line. More Williams touchdowns, please. Let's go. I want like the top. I want the pants. I want the shoes, the hat. I want it all matching. I want a whole Jamal Williams clothing line, 110%.
They really need to sell that in the team shop. That was incredible.
For real. All right. Let's go to Amon-Ra. And this is a part, just to start. This started last week with me. I don't know why it just kind of clicked at the Buffalo game, because it just happened play after play after play after play. I kept screaming, "First down, St. Brown," right? And I don't want to nickname him that because it's touchdown St. Brown, but first down St. Brown fits because my man is always getting past the sticks. Like it feels like 15 times a game. Just first down, St. Brown, first down, St. Brown. Loving it. My guy, 114 yards this week, just blowing the top off it, and ranked second, I believe, by PFF of all wide receivers in the league this week.
That score of, I believe it was 90.0, which is that's elite.
Yeah.
And if you watched him play, matches up. He was elite.
Yeah.
He had a great game.
His PFF rating overall is 90.7.
Wow.
It's incredible. Woo. Okay. We got you, Don H. Don't worry, we got you. We appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's really quick talk about the playoffs, because a lot of people talk about the playoffs, and I don't want to be down because, look, I believe this team for the rest. I believe this team can and likely, if they beat Minnesota, likely will win out the rest of the season. That's a tall order. That's a very, very tall order. But if they beat Minnesota, they have the high from that. They have the confidence from that, and the teams that they're playing for the rest of the year, they have everything needed to be able to beat those teams. And I think they can. Let's just say they do. I'm worried they still don't make it, Riz. I'm worried they still don't make it.
That would put them at 10-7.
Yep.
That would mean that both
With the tie
Washington
problem,
and New York are 10-6-1.
Yep.
And that's perfectly feasible the way those teams are playing, and they will be behind Dallas.
That's my fear.
And you still have to get in front of Seattle too.
Yep.
That's the other wild card team.
Yep.
So you've got to pass two of those teams. That's asking a lot, man. Like that's Seattle isn't going away. They still have to play a couple of really bad teams.
Yeah.
Like
they played the Rams twice.
NFC East is going to cannibalize itself a little bit, but those teams are still ahead. And again, that tie totally screwed the Lions, because the big thing that you had was the chip that you could play was we got the tiebreaker against both New York and Washington. So it doesn't matter which one of them. We just need one of them to be tied with. And now they can't be tied with them. And that really, really hurt. I can't stress enough how devastating that was to the Lions' playoff chances. Like that was worse than losing the next two games, because now they have no shot at a tiebreaker, which means that those wins don't really mean anything. Yeah. And that's hard. That's going to be really, really hard for them to overcome. They are going to need help, even if they get to 10-7 to get in, just based on that. Because 10-6-1 beats 10-7.
The good news is,
and I think both of those teams wind up being 10-6-1. I really do.
So this showed up, John Paul Morrison. The good news is they play again. We could probably get another tie out of them, and that would take care of things.
That would be fun. They play next week too. They played last week. Washington's off this week, and they play again next week. How wacky is that? Imagine playing Green Bay twice in 3 weeks.
I get sick. We got Nostradamus. Anyone know how I go about getting into the Slack? I will give you that. You go to patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Donate is a little $5 a month. You can do 500 if you want, or anything in between. $5 a month gets you access to the Slack, and I'm telling you, it's worth it. It keeps the riffraff out. I mean, that's really where we're at. It's people that care. It supports the show. It all goes to support the show and the stuff we're doing in Senior Bowl and the stuff that everyone does here. But it's what keeps us with such a great group of people. I can't say enough the community that's in the Slack. It's the best, most intelligent Lions chat you'll find. So there you go. All right. So they win out. The playoffs are a little worried, but look, if the Lions win out this year, if they go through it and we come out on the bad side, it's a failure. I mean, you're going to hear those people. Remember, those people existed for the New England Patriots in the midst of their dynasty, and even when they were still winning at the end of their dynasty, there was the people that, I can't believe Belichick, what an idiot, just couldn't accept that they were a winning team with a winning culture that just always got it done. Getting to a 10-win season or even a 9-win season would be spectacular for this team. It is, remember, the beginning of the season, 6 wins. That's what I'm predicting, but this is a rebuild. I just want to see good, smart play. Boys, we get to 10 wins. We're seeing it. We're ahead of schedule for 6 wins. We have every opportunity to get 6.
Then you're looking at next year when you add 2 more first-round draft picks, no matter where they are.
Yeah.
And you've got the ability to whittle away some of the people that aren't necessarily part of your future, and you've got a chance to add more dynamic pieces via free agency, via the draft, via whatever. Then, I mean, look at Green Bay, look at Chicago. Are you worried about those teams next year? Not really. Minnesota, they're what, 10 and they're 10-1 in 1-score games. That's unsustainable. No. Hopefully that changes this weekend.
Yeah.
But it is right there. This team, and we talked about this when the rebuild started. When you're going to be good, 2023, 2024, 2025 is exactly when the Packers are down, or as down as they can be. The Bears won't be there yet. The Vikings will be aging out of the window they're in with Kirk Cousins, with Alvin Cook, with guys like that, Daniel Hunter. Those guys are going to start to be going down a little bit.
And their cap is a wreck, right?
Yes.
They're going to get.
And they got to pay Hawkinson. And that's that. We will talk about Hawk this weekend. In fact, I have, we might do this, Chris. I'll spring this on you here. I might have a Vikings guy pre-record a little bit on Hawkinson, and we'll try to run that at some point this weekend. A little video, 5 to 10 minutes on Hawkinson, because it's good.
Yeah.
He and I have had the conversation in real life. I would like to see him put it on so everybody can watch it and we get 10 minutes where we don't have to talk, because that would be nice.
That'd be great. That would be great. Yeah. So that's good. I'm not worried. I would love the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, because this team, if you look at the New York Giants backing in at a 9-7 team years and years ago and winning the Super Bowl, oddly, this Lions team is the kind of team that could just backdoor their way through like that. Just where they are and riding that kind of a wave, they could do something.
Look at how Cincinnati got in last year. Yeah. They weren't in the playoffs until the last weekend, or the penultimate weekend. Like they struggled to get in. Like it wasn't easy.
Yeah.
Look what they did. They damn near won it.
Yeah.
They won the AFC. Could you imagine let alone winning, but winning an NFC championship, winning 2 playoff games in the same year? Like that hasn't happened since like 99.5% of our audience has been alive. So think about that.
They win the NFC. I win $1,500. You know, I want them in the playoffs. You know, I want them in the playoffs. But I just don't see it. I don't see it, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm so wrong.
I'm not there. I think it's asking a lot, A, for them to win out, and B, for winning out even to be enough to get them in. Yeah, that's just the reality of the situation. Doesn't mean that 10-7 isn't good enough, because that's fantastic for this team, especially when you started 1-6. But it shows that they are going to be there next year, and they will be the team next year that is situated where everybody thinks the Buffalo Bills were last year, or 2 years ago, where people think that the 49ers have been for a couple of years, like a team that's like, there's a lot of really good players there. They might not have like the best player, but they got a lot of really good ones, and that can work for them. And it's working for San Francisco, and now they're doing it without Jimmy G. See how that goes. I'm not writing them off at all. But that's the kind of team that the Lions could be. The Eagles were that team coming into this year. They're like, man, if Jalen Hurts, if he's even good, they're going to be really good. And he's been he's MVP caliber. And that's one of the reasons why they're the best team in the NFC right now.
Yep.
I know Minnesota has a better record. I think Philadelphia is better.
I got to hit Flounder really quick. He said, where am I supposed to buy my JMO jersey? Chris, why? Of course, you go to fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. Buckle up right there. You can get all your Lions gear, Michigan gear. Hey, they're coming in number 2. That's going to be an interesting set of college football playoffs. You got your Wings gear looking hot. You want to get some Piston stuff? Cool. You got some good stuff going on there. Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. Get your gear, show off your team. It's the top quality licensed stuff, and you can help the show by doing something you were going to do anyway. Costs you nothing more. Fanatics.detroitlionspodcast.com. All right. Let's go draft order really quick. Rams have lost 6 straight, but Riz, they've gotten your favorite player. They've signed Baker Mayfield. Is this what's going to take them to the playoffs this year? Is this how they're going to get the?
I'm morbidly fascinated what's going to happen with Baker Mayfield there, because and we talked about this in the Slack this morning. In theory, Sean McVay is going to love him. In theory. Like I see the angle, because let's let the speculation that Matthew Stafford retires just out for a second. Just for the final 5 games of this year, he's a hell of a lot better than John Wolford or Bryce Perkins. Like he might not know the offense, but he knows enough of the principles. The thing with Baker Mayfield, and I saw this firsthand in Cleveland, he needs a machine to rage against. Sean McVay knows how to be the machine, but not like make it a negative situation. And I think that's critically important with Baker Mayfield. Matt Rule just didn't get that. Kevin Stefanski got it for a while and got tired of it. But like you can catch lightning in a bottle with that. It wouldn't now obviously they don't have Cooper Kupp, they don't have Aaron Donald, they don't have a lot of other things going on. So they just don't have the talent right now. But I can absolutely see them keeping Baker Mayfield at a reasonable contract next year as a guy that can take over for Matthew Stafford as insurance for Matthew Stafford if he chooses to retire, if he gets hurt again, and it working. But for our purposes now, they're not winning more than 1 or 2 more games. And they wouldn't have won any without Baker Mayfield. And now I think he gives them the chance just based on he can play. And I think people get too clouded on how hurt he was last year. we talked about this a lot in Cleveland last year. Try throwing a ball with your right hand without moving your left side of your body. That's what he was trying to do.
Try getting out of bed.
So I think they'll steal a game. Houston's going to be number one. Houston's not winning again. That's a terrible football team. They're awful.
Yeah, they've got number one overall. Period. Yeah, and they've got every excuse to tank for it if they want to, because they are terrible. There is no reason they should ever do anything better than that tie they did with the Colts. I can't believe they got them.
They're 110-1. They're going to finish 115-1. Chicago is precarious because Justin Fields is emerging and the rest of their team has gone into complete. They've jumped to the other side of Lake Michigan from me. So I don't know if they're going to win another game. How they look in the second half against Green Bay.
I feel like Chicago's got two more in them. I really, really do.
I don't know, man. Like the way that they gave up against Green Bay, against a rival, a vulnerable rival.
Yeah.
And they gave us that. That's rough, man. Like I don't know how they do it. They'll probably win one more just because they are a unique opponent with Justin Fields.
Their schedule sucks.
I don't think they win more than they get over 4.
Their schedule sucks.
That's your 3 worst teams.
They've got a bye. They'll win that, but it won't affect the record. And then they have the Eagles, the Bills, the Lions, and the Vikings. They may not win another one. You're right, Riz. Holy crap. I didn't realize they had that much of a gauntlet at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's weird to put the Lions into that, but I feel pretty confident about the Lions' chances against the Bears.
Oh, I do too. Oh,
yeah.
God. Oh, at home?
The only Lions game after this one that I'm worried about in terms of like this is a team that could match up with us is the Jets.
Yep.
And who knows what's going on with their quarterback situation?
Yeah.
Because I think the Mike White magic has fallen off a little bit. And if Zach Wilson plays, the Lions are a guaranteed W. Guaranteed W over Zach Wilson and the Jets. That guy is I'm not going to say the C word because we're raging against that. Yeah. He is everything that you do not want your starting quarterback to be in terms of personality. And that they figured that out, fortunately, in time before it completely scuttled their season. But he is a pariah in New York right now. And any game he plays, they won't win.
Yep.
That's how out they are on him. And that comes from a lot of people in the New York media who know that situation very well.
Yeah. We'll get to the next piece. So look, we're 3, potentially 4 based on the Rams. I don't see New Orleans, Carolina, Jacksonville threatening for that.
They're weirdly good enough to win a game or 2. Yeah.
So we'll see where we're at, but that Rams pick's going to be so valuable. It really is. It's just beautiful how that's working.
And keep in mind, Chicago is not drafting a quarterback. So
yes.
Houston is. If their current regime is there, I would bet a lot of money that it's Bryce Young, but I don't know that current regime will still be there, or that the new people who come in whatever capacity will be on board with that, because he is not going to be for everybody. Mm-hmm. He's not for me, as an example. And I have a hard time seeing him being a universal number 1 overall quarterback. I just, at that size, with the born on third base status he's had at Alabama, that's going to be a tough sell for some people. Yep. Now he's very, very talented, and he could very well be number 1 anyways. But if the Texans make a change, and there is some pretty strong indications that they are going to make some changes, plural, who knows what they're going to do, but they have to get a quarterback. Their offense is terrible. They have not scored more than 20 points since week 3.
Oh man. Okay. So let's go. Jude, let's get into Jameson Williams is back. Really quick, after all the Jameis Houston news, we have to hit the Riz is right horn. And this is one of the things we got to help people understand the difference between, speculation or kind of game planning something or saying, I heard something from someone inside the building, sourced material. And we're clear about that when we have one or the other. And Riz was very clear. I'll give you a good one. Romeo Okoro, when we talked about him not making it back this year, that was one where we said, and Riz said more clearly, he's a big guy. That's a bad injury. And the way he plays and the position he plays doesn't lend itself to him coming back. I don't expect to see Romeo Okoro in 2022. That's it. My guy's healing up and looks like he's back. He was still, inactive, but healthy, evidently last week. So that's good.
This week. He will play this week, probably the way JMO did last week, where he gets, and Jerry did in his first game, 5 to 10, maybe 12 snaps.
Yep. So we've got that. And then you turn around
That's
and
awesome, by the
say,
way.
look, I've got information sourced from someone inside the building that says Jameson Williams is going to be back. You didn't hear it anywhere else. Nobody else was talking about that. There was a lot of speculation amongst fans, but Riz said, you expect to see him. That's what I'm hearing. He'll be there. And one more time. Now, at the same time,
wasn't 100% certain, but and I even said it. I talked to Steve Project, the Steve Project show here in West Michigan. I was on last Saturday morning, and I told him I do expect him to play, but I don't know that he will. And you can check it out on Jethro Radio on the recall. That's exactly what I said.
Yep.
That's wound up being what happened.
Yep. And there you go. So that's the difference. That's what happens. Riz was right on that one. And, you guys can see along the way, we've gotten, we know. And I don't want to, bang that drum, but I just want for folks that don't kind of see the difference between when we're telling you we've heard something specifically from sources in the building.
Like when I said that James Houston wasn't going to play in the NFL, that was my dumbass opinion. That wasn't sourced anywhere.
Oh man, so yeah,
we got that one badly wrong. I'm happy I did. Guy's got juice, man, and didn't show it in the summer, but he is the guy that a lot of people wanted Julian Okwara to be, and he's staying healthy doing it, and that's not a skill that Julian Okwara has. So it's awesome. I love it. Love it.
Absolutely.
And just for anybody. He's not a linebacker. Go back to what when they did a fantastic thing with Deion Sanders when he was still at Jackson State before he left for Colorado. When he was talking to James Houston about his pro prospect chances and Deion's like, son, you're not an SEC linebacker. Don't tell me you're an NFL linebacker. Like you can't even start at Florida at off-ball linebacker. You're a pass rusher. Embrace that.
Yeah,
he's done that. It took a little time. He's not an off-ball linebacker. Again, he wouldn't start at Florida at off-ball linebacker and didn't. That's why he transferred to Jackson State and figured out where he needed to be. So anybody who's thinking, he can be our third linebacker. Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep. All right.
Listen to Deion. Take him for his word.
Let's really quick get into we do it once a show. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. The like button's free. You're sitting there. You got nothing to do with your fingers, I hope, if you're looking at us. Go ahead and hit hand check. Hit that like button. You can your hand can disappear for that point. Hit the like button. We appreciate it when you do that, and the subscribe as well. That'll help you find out when we're doing all the things that we do, and it'll give you a direct link right into the show to get to it when we go live. You're going to particularly appreciate that when we go to the Senior Bowl. I'm just telling you right now, it's random when we go live, when we get the interviews with the people, it happens, but we'll be going hard at the stadium as well. You'll see a lot from us, a lot to go on that. So like and subscribe, please. We always ask once per show. We don't want to bang you with that too hard, but it is super, super helpful. But don't worry, we do want to bang you. All right, let's get into what we have coming up on Friday. 9 a.m. is the St. Jude show. You can donate now. Get us started. Juice up the wagon here. Prime the pump. stjude.org/DLP. We've got incredible guests coming and joining us. The Lions are providing some things. They're mystery guests right now, we'll say. And they'll be coming on. But we've got Mike Furry, former wide receiver. We've got Bill Keenest, historian for the Lions. We've got a number of media folks. Justin Rogers, Dan Miller, Scott Bischoff, our guy. Brian Burkheiser, lead singer for I Prevail, who...
He confirmed to me while we were on the show, and he's watching, by the way. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Answer mine as fast as his. I mean, waiting 5 hours isn't fair. You know how much Riz Rod was that in my face? Anyway.
I rub a lot of things in your face.
Well, just don't take pictures. I was supposed to be at the show in St. Pete, but I couldn't because they rescheduled for the day after Thanksgiving of all days. It's like, But in the first time it was a hurricane, so they had to reschedule for that. So we'll get out, Brian. I promise. I want to so bad. Doug Farrar, Micro Mike. I think he's still rolling around in there. He'll be there as well. Michael Gray, former radio host in.
I should get Micro Mike to come here. He lives like a mile away.
He could pie face you.
He could. He'd love to do that.
Let's talk. All right.
We'll have to work on that.
We actually have the guy who got the Anal Zone jersey signed by Alex Anzalone. So that's going to be hilarious. It's going to be so much fun to talk about that. You guys are going to love that. I don't know if I said Tony Ortiz. We got a bunch of great people, a couple patients we're going to talk to. We've got some huge signed balls and some things that were been signed by the Lions and some Pistons stuff as well that we're going to live auction during the show. So you get a chance to win some critically cool stuff. I'm telling you, that's not even in the regular auction, which is at auction.detroitlionspodcast.com, which has some really cool autograph stuff, signed stuff, helmets, jerseys, the whole full-size helmets, jerseys, mini helmets, the whole thing. Check it out, auction.detroitlionspodcast.com. Donate at stjude.org/DLP and join us 9 a.m. It all starts 9 a.m. on Friday, and we're going for 24 hours for St. Jude. Christmas for the kids. Help us help the kids and their families have a great Christmas and help them get the help they need when things are at the worst point that they're facing. So there you go. Riz, I think that was the talk of the town that we had this week. Was there anything else that popped up in your head you wanted to cover? Maybe we'll do a question or two from the chat. Do you think the Vikings are the best team?
Just real quick, because we're going to be yelling at you for 24 hours and talking with you and giving you great guests. So we need to sleep beforehand because some of us have other things scheduled Saturday afternoon and evening and Sunday afternoon and evening. So we'll make it quick. But if there's any is there any great burning questions in the chat? Because I don't have the ability to see it. I do have it up, but I don't have my readers.
I'll throw them up as we get them. Also, I want to say that we're not not doing the post game show either. I mean, we did the weekly show. We're going 24 hours on Friday and Saturday, and then we're doing the post game show again on Sunday. We're not letting you guys off the hook. You're stuck with us. We're here for you. So there you go. There we go. All right. I think we've got it covered, Riz. I think this is going to be where we do what we do when we do what we do. If you're okay with that, do.
Yeah, that's good with me.
All right, we will see you all Friday, 9 a.m. Listen to WWJ Thursday and Friday morning ahead of the show. They're going crazy and helping us promote this, so let's give some love to WWJ for their support as well, helping us. Tony Ortiz and the folks over there helping us make this St. Jude thing a little bit bigger, a little bit better. Quick, my burning question is: when was the first time we were favorites against a 10-win team in December, Riz?
I don't know the answer. I actually asked somebody who's involved. So I get 50 emails a day from various gambling sites. I responded to a few of them today, and nobody's given me an answer yet. Bastards.
Thank you, Mike Hodges. 1866 takes us up to 12,169 cents. Thank you, Hodges. You're a great guy, man.
Love Mike.
Mike's
been a good supporter of mine for a very long time. I appreciate that, Mike.
Let's see. Saw another one here. Riz, how do you feel about James Houston today? That's a good one. Here's one. Do we have Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn's replacement in-house if they leave for HC spots? I'm telling you right now, Ben Johnson is here next year. Ben Johnson will be here next year. I am putting my foot on the floor and saying Ben Johnson is here next year. He's not, and I'm not saying that there won't be interviews. I'm not saying Ben Johnson is here next year. I'm telling you.
As far as that goes, I would still be looking more for a Deuce Staley replacement than any other player because I think he's going to be a head coach next year.
I do too.
I will say Tanner Engstrom is moving up.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
If not in Detroit, somewhere else.
Yep.
He's somebody to watch.
Thoughts on Goff winning Walter Payton Man of the Year? I'll tell you what, Jared Goff came to town and immediately, before he played a game, got the
100%.
JG16 set up in Detroit. He didn't have to do that. He's not like trying to court another trophy for his case at home. He does it because he's genuinely a good, big-hearted human being, and his reaction to that video says a lot. That was incredible.
That was awesome.
It tells you what the kind of heart this guy has, and I absolutely believe my guy deserves it. The work he does. I think if you showed up on our 24-hour show, I think that would be the thing that really notches it and finishes it for him and really lands it, brings it home. So there you go, Jared.
I will just say, if you want to feel better about the world, go to the NFL.com, look at all the nominees and look at why they're nominated, and you will see some incredible human beings that are doing great things that they don't have to do because they're good people. And you don't hear enough about that in the NFL, certainly not in today's culture. So it's very, very uplifting to go through and look at all of them, including what Goff does. And it's not just his JG16 foundation. He does so much stuff that he doesn't have to and shouldn't have the time for. And he makes time for it because he's a good dude.
And he doesn't seek recognition for it. He wants to do
it quietly. Not one bit.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. Wants to do it quiet. He's a special kind of cat. And he takes heat for playing the field, but he's a genuinely wonderful human being. And I think he deserves extra credit for that. Levi on Zarique's progress.
Thank you.
Anything you got on that, Riz?
He's not in Detroit right now. Don't know.
Thank you, Anonymous, for 1234. I don't know who you are, but you just love messing this up. Any film on the Fresno State quarterback, Riz?
Jake Haener?
Correct.
He's fun, man. He is like Max Duggan from TCU. He's like Taylor Heineke. He's like Gardner Minshew. Just plays with incredible testicular fortitude, if not always a lot of skill.
That's the best kind of fortitude.
And there's a finite limit to how far that can take you, but it can take you to certainly being an NFL backup for a long time. I think that's what his lot in life is. And a guy who can come in like Heineke did, if your starter falters and you catch a spark, and Washington's going to the playoffs because Taylor Heineke is good enough to do it, and because he's good enough, they've got a good enough team around him, and he understands how to do that. Haener can be that guy for a year or two.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of some other guys that are like that that have been around. He's better than BJ Walker. He's better than Blaine Gabbert, that kind of guy. I think he's going to get drafted. He's older. He's had a crap ton of injuries, so I'm thinking he's probably a 5th or a 6th round guy. I wouldn't mind having that guy on my football team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're still under the match. We're at $94 right now. We got another $106 that'll get matched.
That's got to be from Flounder.
Yes. So if you've got it, a couple extra pennies in your pocket, head on over to stjude.org/DLP, and let's take advantage of that max money or that match money. We got Hank Fraley for co-head coach. I say giving him a run game coordinator title.
I don't think he wants to be a head coach. Chris, you know him better than I do. I don't see Hank coveting that type of responsibility or role.
Give him the run game coordinator.
Okay.
He's doing it anyway. Give it to him. Give it to him. There you go. Why did Mark DeLeon
run establishment?
Why did Mark DeLeon get canned? Yeah, I got to be in the Slack for that kind of stuff, man.
that's yes.
Starting linebacker next year, Rodrigo and Barnes. Is Anzalone coming back? I think he's been playing better. He's got a mentor role, I think. I would not want to count on him as a starting linebacker for the Lions. I think he's great backup and great mentor role. I would not want him to not be on the team. That's a double negative. Sorry. I want him on the team next year, but as a kind of backing a strong rookie. Like backing a Rodrigo type guy who shows up and plays. You know what I mean? I want him to mentor somebody. I want him to mentor the team and be that soul of them, and still get paid because he deserves it, right? I mean, he's a real key part of the character that
if he's your number 3 linebacker, you're going to be okay. I know people have crapped on him, and we talked about this in the Slack. If you want to go back a little bit about how PFF completely dogs him unnecessarily, and that makes the perception of him a lot worse than he actually plays. because they're screwing him up and they're screwing him over. If you watch him the last month, he's a perfectly acceptable starting linebacker. Might even be good.
Yeah.
And don't let his low PFF grades. And I know he had a high one this past week. But
he's 55.2. He deserves better than that.
The 1 week where they said that he missed 5 tackles, I watched that game back and forth twice. He maybe missed 3, probably missed 2. And they did not give him credit for either of his pass rushes or his pass defense once. Again, we talked about this on the show last week. He leads all linebackers in PDs, pass defended, with 8, according to the NFL statistics. PFF still has him for 0, and that includes an interception. Get that right, folks, please. PFF, I know you're laying people off. Find somebody who can figure out who Alex Anzalone, the dude with the hair, is.
So this is a big question,
easy to spot.
And I think this is directed at you, Riz. I've got an opinion. Better hair last week, Anzalone or T-Law?
See, Trevor Lawrence to me looks exactly like former professional beach volleyball player Kerry Walsh Jennings, and I can't get past that. So Anzalone gets that for sure.
Oh man, I think Anzalone's got the better hair. I really love Trevor Lawrence. I do. Like when he was hurt, I really, really felt bad for him, and I was hoping
that looked bad.
That looked terrible. Adam, thank you for the 2066. stjude.org/DLP. Adam, you rock and roll. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I like the kid a lot. His hair is not it though. Anzalone all the way. If Deuce Staley gets a head coach job, do they get comp picks, or is that only for coordinators and GM?
They would get a comp pick, yes.
Let's see. Can we get?
It's not the third. It would be I don't have the formula in front of me. They would get something for it.
Yeah. Hey, Court Major looks like
these nuts
been dragged back and forth across his face. There you go. Can we get Anzalone a Head and Shoulders commercial?
Great. By the way, one of the highlights of training camp every day this year was seeing Anzalone and his wife and his kids. They're all beautiful people, and just seeing them, he and Jared Davis are incredibly close and tight. And Davis, I don't know if Jared Davis is married. I should know that, but whoever was with him, they were hanging out together, and it was clear that they were family, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got? I think the Anzalone Head and Shoulders commercial would be a lot of fun. I think that like a Twitter campaign for that would be awesome. I think he needs to step over Palomalu anyway at this point because you're not wanting the gray hairs, you want the younger fellas, right?
So real quick on Troy Polamalu, my friend Jim Wexel has written a book. If you're a Steelers fan or a Polamalu fan at all, Jim Wexel, he's a great guy. He's a very good writer. He wrote a book about Polamalu. It's a great read. I got an autographed copy of it from Jim. If you like that at all, please check him out. It's available on Amazon. Jim Wexel. It's called Polamalu and has some subtitle to it. Check it out. If you have a Steelers fan on your gift list, get it for him. It'll go to a good place. I guarantee it.
You go. All right, Riz, we got to get some sleep, brother. I only got 4 hours last night and 4 the night before. I'm going to need...
Yeah, so I was up last night where my son played against Kirk Cousins' alma mater last night, Holland Christian. My kid hung up 23-12 in a 10-point win. So I was buzzing last night. It was great. It was fun watching the Kirk Cousins folks. And there were 3 people wearing Kirk Cousins jerseys in the stands. It was at their place. That was nice. So I'm hoping that we can build some momentum off that Michigan is just, rolling over these people, and that'll be fun. So
yeah. Whew, it's good. I got to get some sleep. It's been intense, man. My work. We'll talk about it. We'll have time in the late night hours of what's going on. But
5 a.m. is going to be a fun hour, baby.
Yeah. If you want to learn about the boys, that's the time to do it. All right. With that, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, like, subscribe, and don't forget about us on Patreon. If you like the best Lions chat you're ever going to find, the most intelligent chat you're going to find, go to patreon.com/Detroit Lions podcast. Commit to at $5 or more a month, and you'll get access within hours to the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet, the Slack chat. Also, follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast. That's DET Lions Podcast. And at Jeff Risden, just like you say you spelled right there. Follow us, best pants-free place on the internet. Riz can't even get him to button anymore. Otherwise, he gets into that Rob Halford falsetto area. So, pants-free all the time on Twitter. Check us out. Give us a call via Skype. Give us a call via Skype at Detroit Lions Podcast. Detroit Lions Podcast, all one word. Or call us in the Lions line. It's a little different. 248-782-8384. 248-RUB-YOU-FUG. Be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast, because when you subscribe, something special happens. What do you got, buddy? What happens?
I get to come into your ear holes automatically.
And it's an experience. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems. I did find some toaster bath bombs, by the way, and I'm glad we don't need them this year, because we're your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection. stjude.org/DLP, and we will see you 9 a.m. Friday. Thank you all for all you do for St. Jude and what we're trying to do here. Appreciate y'all.